Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I will be previewing the NFC East division matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. But before we get into that, Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 300 subscribers by the end of the year, and any help would be greatly appreciated. So if you have not already, subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, comment on this video, let us know your thoughts, share us, your video or share this video with your Cowboy friends and your Washington friends. And Ryan, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So we haven't covered Washington since I think their week 2, I think it was, or week 3 Thursday night football matchup when they played the New York Giants, and rightly so because Washington after 8 games they were 2-6. They beat my Falcons, which isn't saying much, and that was their last win before they went on a bye. And since the bye, they have not lost. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks, and Las Vegas Raiders. Even though there's like the Panthers and the Seahawks are not good teams, I would have thought that they would have beat Washington by then. But no, here they are. They're 6-6. They are currently the 6th seed in the NFC playoffs.
Which is crazy.
Happened today. It's insane. Yeah. It's absolutely insane. But I mean, and you know what? We were talking about it before. I would say it's kind of a fluke that they are there. But it's not like they beat bad teams. They did beat Tampa Bay. You know, they held Tampa Bay to 19 points, and they only held Tom Brady to 273 passing yards, picking them off twice. So maybe they have turned the corner. Taylor Heinicke and Terry McLaurin are definitely vibing. Also, Antonio Gibson has been having a great season. Same with J.D. McKissick as well. What do you think Washington has to do to pull off an upset, keep their playoff hopes alive, and honestly actually make this division race pretty close because they are 2 games back from the Cowboys?
Yeah, and they could get half a game back with a win today, I think. Because I don't have they played yet?
A full game. No.
Yeah, they played twice in the next 3 weeks. But so half a game because that would put Dallas at 8-5 and them at 7-6. But then if they tie, then Washington would go ahead. If that makes sense.
Yeah, just make one game back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Half a game in one game. Okay. Yeah. But
it's not the same, but that's okay.
yeah. Well, because they would have the tiebreaker. So like if Dallas were to go lose to the Giants the next week, Washington would have the head-to-head wins. So they would be ahead.
Okay. I see what you're saying now. Okay. But anyways, so what does Washington have to do to be the Cowboys this week?
So one of the things that really sticks out to me is they are giving up more points than the Cowboys per game, but they're giving up less yards than the Cowboys per game. So what that tells me is that they haven't necessarily been the best defense in the red zone and that they need to hold teams to more field goals. Because if they're going to give up around the same amount of yards but less points, that means Washington is not converting in the red zone and they're letting the opponents convert in the red zone. So I think Washington has to be stingy in the red zone and really kind of make this Cowboys team kick field goals, not let them in the end zone. I know that's easier said than done because the Cowboys have one of the more balanced offenses in the league, but I think that's Washington's key to victory. Keep this game low scoring and beat them how they beat the Raiders, and just win a low scoring, boring game. So,
it's definitely if you look at their wins, really honestly going back to the Atlanta game was an exciting one to watch. Actually, and so was the Giants, but the rest of their wins really on this winning streak. They've been kind of grind them out games. Even the one against Tampa, it was kind of grind them out, cause turnovers, cause third downs. And the same thing with the Raiders, really taking them off their rhythm. And I think one of the things that is going to be one of the key factors here is how their pass defense goes up against this Dallas Cowboys offense. Obviously, with Dallas Cowboys, they have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz. They have also Michael Gallup. You got Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield. But Washington ranks 30th in overall passing yards per game, but third in overall running yards per game. So as you kind of alluded to, they're going to need to be able to kind of stop them from when they get into the red zone, hold them to field goals, hold them to keeping touchdowns off the board. Because if that pass game gets going and they start throwing all over the field, who knows what's going to happen? And I don't think that Washington has the firepower to keep up with the Cowboys in the shootout.
No, I definitely agree with that. I don't think Washington, especially J.D. McKissick, is questionable. He's kind of like their receiving threat out of the backfield. And Antonio Gibson's a good receiver as well. But even with both of those guys healthy, Terry McLaurin playing on the outside, I think they're still just too young. Logan Thomas has been injured this year, so him and Heinicke haven't necessarily built up the same amount of rapport that Dak Prescott and Dalton Schultz have. They just don't stack up, in my opinion, fairly.
Well, I think Logan Thomas. I think Logan Thomas is going to be out of the game. I believe I don't think he tore any ligaments, but I believe he banged up his knee pretty good.
Didn't he just come back like last week?
Yeah, he just came back not that long ago, but then he banged it up again. Let me double check that. But what were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I think if they can kind of do what the Patriots did and just get Dallas behind the chains, Dallas is one of the most penalty happy teams, I guess, in the NFL. So if they can just let Dallas make those mistakes, let them get behind the chains, then the run game isn't as big of a threat. They can put more guys in pass protection and just kind of keep Dallas back. But again, that is a lot easier said than done. And you're also kind of relying on Dallas just to make mistakes. So I don't know if that's necessarily a truly good game plan.
Yeah. I will say one thing that Washington does have going for them is, it's not that I would say the Cowboys offense hasn't been in sync as of late, but in the past couple games the past couple of times that they've played an offense or defense with a good defensive line, the offense seems to have struggled a little bit and not seem to click as much, such as when they played against the Saints. I think it was more of good credit to the Saints defensive front causing havoc and the Saints defense in general. Same thing with Kansas City. Kansas City also caused some troubles for Dallas. Now they were without CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper in that example. But if there's one thing that they can do that Cowboys they seem to have struggled with, it has been that with Montez Sweat leading the way now with Chase Young out with a torn ACL for the rest of the season. There's still a lot of firepower, though, on that Washington front, and I think they can go after the quarterback. That being said, though, I think kind of going into the prediction side now, I just think Dallas is going to come away with a victory here, depending on coaching errors. I personally think Mike McCarthy is not the best coach. I think he has made some errors in the Cowboys, which has put some wins in jeopardy. And I think that's as long as they can just play a clean game, which they have struggled with, as you said, with penalties and turnovers, then I think the Cowboys should come on top and should score. I mean, I would say just with this passing defense, I mean, probably 31 points, giving up 31-20 would be my prediction.
Yeah, I have Dak Prescott in fantasy this week, and I am very excited to say that he is going to be starting. I just think Dallas is going to have too many weapons. CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are back. And Dak Prescott, I mean, he's having a really good season. I always kind of bought into the argument that Dak Prescott got a lot of numbers in garbage time just because the Cowboys weren't very good, and they either had to throw the ball downfield to catch up. And that's kind of why he always had great numbers. But, I mean, this year, he's doing all this in the meat of games, I guess you could say. And he's putting up really good numbers, and he's playing really well. And they have the supporting cast for him. And I think Dallas will pretty much lock up the division on Sunday. I think they win. I'm going to say 35-21.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and kind of going to what you were saying though about Dak Prescott. He is a very efficient receiver. This passing offense is very efficient. He's got a 69% completion percentage and 3,100 yards through 11 games this year. So like he's having a solid year. He missed the one game against Minnesota. wise, he would be leading the league in passing yards and stats, and would be up there in total touchdowns. But yeah, I think that Dak is going to stay efficient against this weak passing defense. Washington seems to give a lot of cushion amongst their opposing receivers, and you can't really do that against Dallas. And I think they're going to eat it up. I think they're going to have a 300-plus yard passing game day, and I think your prediction is also possible as well.
Yeah. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Tyler and I are trying to get to 300 subscribers by the end of 2021. Other than that, leave your comment down below on who you think is going to win, and we will see you guys next time.